Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the mechanics of how companies actually find and hire talent. If you've ever wondered what exactly goes on behind the curtain when an organization needs to grow its team while you're in the right place, we're going to act as your definitive, structured guide through the entire life cycle of a hire. We'll be exploring the strategies, the internal and external hunts, and the truly fascinating ways technology is completely changing the game. So get ready, because we are going to demystify the recruitment process from start to finish.
Okay, let's dive into this and lay out our roadmap. We're going to start with the requisition, move right into strategy formulation, explore how companies search by looking inward and looking outward, and finally wrap up with the digital hunt. Think of this recruitment process not as some boring, static checklist, but as a highly dynamic journey that takes us from identifying a critical open position all the way to using cutting-edge tech to actually fill it. But before we take that first step, let's make sure we're on the same page. Recruitment isn't just about throwing a job ad onto the internet and seeing who applies. It's a highly deliberate process of attracting, screening, and hiring qualified people. And the absolutely crucial word here is balance. You got to have the right quantity of applicants, sure, but you desperately need quality. This entire balancing act is driven by a carefully prepared job analysis, which establishes the minimum qualifications so you can effectively screen out the folks who just aren't a fit.
All right, Section 1, the requisition. This is where it all begins.
This is the absolute starting line. It's that moment an organization realizes it has a mini-crisis and desperately needs to fill a position. But you can't just start interviewing people on day one, right? First, HR has to navigate the red tape and lock down the logistics. Step 1 is securing approvals for the job requisition itself. This isn't just picking a job title. It requires serious cost estimates and headcount verification to see if the company can actually afford another salary. Step 2 is ensuring the accuracy of the job details, things like the description, the job level, the location. And only after all of that is double-checked and accurately represents the organization do we finally reach Step 3, which is preparing to actually advertise the role.
Moving right along to Section 2, strategy formulation. Time to develop our sources.
So, with the green light given and the requisition signed off, we need a blueprint, a very specific plan of action to attract the right people. One of the most effective strategies out there is building a candidate pipeline. Think of this as developing a strategic reserve of talent. You don't just want to react and scramble when someone quits, you want people ready to go. You do this by letting potential candidates know you're interested in them for the future and alerting management when someone truly exceptional hits the market. Actually, sometimes, building this pipeline means creating a brand new position just to capture an undeniably strong candidate who doesn't even match your current openings. The key, though, is keeping this pipeline to a manageable size so it actually remains a useful tool rather than just a chaotic list of names.
Now, as part of this strategy, a traditional full-time, in-office hire isn't always the automatic answer. Flexible staffing is a brilliant, cost-effective way to recruit talent. You've got schedule flexibility, think compressed work weeks or part-time options, and location flexibility, like working remotely from an off-site location. Why does this matter? Well, flexible staffing solves immediate problems like seasonal workload demands or special projects that need really specific skills. And even better, the data shows it actually improves overall job commitment over a one-year period and decreases employee health problems. It's a total win-win.
So, with our strategy in hand, a massive question emerges. Should you hire from within? To answer this, I want to introduce what I call the double lens analogy. We're going to start with the magnifying glass, looking very closely inward at our current staff before we look anywhere else.
Which brings us to Section 3, looking inward. Let's talk internal recruitment.
Leveraging the incredible talent already on your payroll happens through promotions, lateral transfers, and utilizing tools like HRIS, Human Resource Information Systems. These systems act as massive skill banks to generate computerized profiles of what your current employees can already do, and this brilliantly illustrates the balancing act of recruitment. The pros are fantastic. It builds incredible morale and allows management to rely on a candidate's known performance, and it drastically reduces the time needed for the employee to adjust. However, the cons are very real. If you only look inward, you severely limit your candidate pool. Over time, you risk creating a highly insulated, internally focused culture that might be completely resistant to new industry trends.
And sometimes looking inward actually means looking globally. Companies frequently move their own people around the world to transfer technology, share knowledge, or analyze new markets. You've got your short-term assignees who move for a few months, your long-term folks relocating for over a year, permanent assignees who spend their entire career hopping between international offices, and returnees coming back home. This is internal mobility on a massive global scale.
But international internal movement is definitely not simple. Look at this number, 71%. According to the International Assignee Research Project, 71% of international assignees say that spouse counseling and support are absolutely important. This proves that internal movement, especially across borders, requires heavy logistics. If you want these global transfers to be successful, you have to support the employee's family, help with their children's education, and even provide professional training for their spouses.
Okay, time to swap that magnifying glass for a telescope. Section 4, looking outward. Let's explore external recruitment. Venturing into the broader market to find completely fresh talent comes with its own unique tension, just like internal recruitment. On the pro side, external hires inject crucial new ideas and talent right into the organization's bloodstream. They provide invaluable cross-industry insights that you just can't generate internally. But the trade-off is definitely real. External hiring significantly increases your recruitment costs. It can sometimes cause morale problems for internal candidates who feel they were passed over, and it requires a much longer orientation time for that new hire to adjust to your company culture. So where exactly do we find these external candidates? Well, the pipelines are incredibly diverse. We have traditional print and media advertising, temporary and contract agencies that provide pre-screened talent really quickly, and career sites right on the organization's own website. Then, of course, there are online social networks, blogs, and even global internships. Through all of this, the HR professional or the lead recruiter acts as a vital liaison. They are the critical bridge facilitating communication between the hiring manager inside the company and this vast, highly complex outside world. Finally, we hit Section 5, the digital hunt. This is where recruiting technology changes the whole game.
The methods of reaching both internal and external candidates are changing at literal lightning speed, entirely driven by cutting-edge technology. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this massive number, 5 billion. Back in 2011, the United Nations International Telecommunications Union reported that mobile phone subscriptions hit 5 billion worldwide. 5 billion. This statistic alone cemented exactly why mobile marketing became an absolute necessity for recruiters. Candidates are out there searching for jobs right from their phones, anywhere, anytime.
To capitalize on those billions of phones, recruiters deploy some seriously rapid-fire tech tools. Short messaging services, like quick Twitter updates, let companies blast open positions to a highly targeted audience in seconds. Then you have quick response, or QR tags, placed right in job advertisements. A candidate simply takes a picture of the tag and boom, they get job info instantly. There's even image recognition technology now, where a candidate can snap a photo of a sign at a job fair and the recruiter system immediately sends relevant info directly back to the phone's browser. This gives organizations a broader reach, incredible efficiency, and absolute immediacy directly in the palm of a candidate's hand.
And beyond mobile, we have video conferencing. It's totally brilliant for speeding up the search process and eliminating those super expensive travel costs. A great rule of thumb from the research is that video is absolutely perfect for interviewing top applicants who are more than a half day of travel away. However, it definitely comes with clear trade-offs. You have to navigate potential transmission lags, general discomfort with the technology, and the very real psychological difficulty of staying fully engaged with a candidate through a screen compared to sitting right across a desk from them.
And that brings us to the end of our journey, leaving us with this vital question to ponder. Are you utilizing the right lens, inward, outward, or digital, to find your perfect candidate? Because, as we've seen, recruitment is never a one-size-fits-all endeavor. It requires careful strategy, a deep understanding of your own internal talent pool, a really keen eye on the external market, and the technological savvy to connect the two. I hope this explainer has demystified the life cycle of a hire for you and given you a fresh perspective on how organizations build their absolute most valuable asset, their people. Thank you so much for joining me, and keep exploring.